Over 900 raw clips, that's how many I color graded for my Iceland film, and I really wish I'd known these tips earlier. Fixing ugly greens, cleaning up shadows, making subjects pop, fixing white balance, removing noise, controlling sharpness and getting skin tones natural. All the examples here are from my own footage shot on BMPCC 4K, but this works with any camera. Let's jump into DaVinci Resolve. This is one of the fastest ways to fix that unnatural green problem and get water looking just right, without breaking the whole image. First, on the color page, open hue versus hue. Grab the eyedropper, click the color you want to change, and you'll see Resolve place points for you. Now, I'm not trying to reinvent the scene. I'm just nudging the hue so it looks more natural. I'll move it a little and watch how the greens calm down. Now for the water, I will go to hue versus saturation and target the color of the water with the eyedropper. Then I can boost its color in similar way to hue versus hue. Of course, you can also change the color of the water completely, making a scene straight from a fantasy movie. Just a quick warning, keep the moves small. Hue curves are very powerful and it's easy to make the footage look fake if you push too far. This one saved me a lot of time because I used to fight shadows by changing shadow color and it was always messy. I really wish I knew it before. Instead, I use luminance versus saturation to desaturate the darkest parts. It instantly makes the image feel cleaner. You can find it next to the hue curves. If you haven't used it, left side is shadows, right side is highlights. I'll add a point in the shadow range and pull it down just a bit. Now the shadows stop looking dirty, but the rest of the image keeps its color. This is especially good on a nature footage, for example on the mountain shadows, dark rocks, black sand or forests. Everywhere where the shadows can get a weird color cast. Okay, now time for a big one. If you want a subject, like an animal or a person, to pop without destroying the background, this is the clean way. If you're on Resolve Studio, go to Magic Mask. Change the quality to better and mark the subject with a few points. Then track it through the whole clip and check if it's masked correctly using a mask overlay. Once it's tracked, I keep it simple. A tiny bit of contrast, a tiny bit of saturation, maybe a touch of Midtone Detail, and that's it. In this situation, the ship is too dark compared to the background, so masking it allows me to balance the whole image and avoid losing detail in the highlights or shadows. If you're on free version, don't worry, you can also get most of the look. Instead of Magic Mask, you can use a power window. Create a window around the subject. Track it and feather it a bit by increasing softness inside and outside. Then just apply the same subtle boost. Magic Mask is faster and cleaner, but the free method absolutely works if you keep it simple. White balance is one of those things that's boring, but it's the base for everything else. If you have a white, well-lit object in your frame, you can use the white balance eyedropper to let Resolve automatically set it for you. It's super simple and works really well. If there is no white object, I like using offset for quick global balance because it moves the whole image in a natural way. If the shot feels too cold, I push offset slightly warm. If it's too green, I push slightly toward magenta. I do it while checking the scopes. Vectorscope is great for that because you can roughly center the colors of your clip and it should be good enough. I'm not chasing perfection, just making it natural enough to grade. Noise reduction can make your footage look premium with almost no extra effort. It can sometimes save your clips and make them usable. I set it before all my grading as the first node in my node tree. I typically set it to 5 frames either side and motion estimation type to better. Then I raise the threshold slowly until the noise is controlled. The rule here is to stop as soon as the noise is almost gone. Anything above that can make your footage look washed out or blurry. If your scene is dynamic, you can lower the frames either side, because it can introduce artifacts like bending of the background behind the moving object. You can check it out yourself. This could be the difference that transforms your film from looking blurry to crisp and super sharp 4K. Just don't go too far, because it will look like an overprocessed smartphone video. In the blur tab, I start with lowering the radius from basic 0.50 to around 0.47. That works in most cases for me on my BMPCC 4K, but each camera is different. It's much better to leave it subtle than to overdo it. Then I bump up the Midtone Detail to increase local contrast. It really helps with texture, feathers, hair, grass, basically anything with fine detail. Being able to control sharpness on your own is one of the biggest powers of a filmmaker, because if original footage is too sharp, it will be really hard to make it look natural. The color of the skin can be really tricky while color grading. Sometimes changing the whole image will make the skin look artificial, but there is a way to fix it quickly. Open the Vectorscope and make sure that you have skin indicator enabled. The goal is simple. Skin should generally sit near the skin tone line. If it's off, I usually fix it quickly using color slides. There you can target the color of the skin and it works really well. I change the hue a bit until it's looking good, first to my eye and as a secondary check on the scope. If your background is a similar color as your skin and it is also being affected, you can combine this tip with the tip about Magic Mask or Power Window, adjusting only the area with the face of your subject. I also have a bonus tip for you that focuses on film look emulation. It makes your digital footage look cinematic or vintage easily. In DaVinci you have various tools to experiment with, like film damage, halation or flicker, and if you use Studio, you can try Film Look Creator to adjust those effects combined together. This works great, but personally I use Dehancer because I like the results and the controls I get with it. Plus, the film grain looks actually realistic, not like those cheap overlays you see everywhere on social media. I have a dedicated video breaking down my full film look workflow if you want to dive deeper. And if you decide to try Dehancer, code SHOT10 gets you 10% off. You can test it for free as well, so check yourself if it fits your workflow. Which tip will you try first, hue curves or maybe Magic Mask? Leave a comment down below. And if you want more practical tips like this, check out this video next. I think you'll like it. If this helped you, leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching and remember, let your films be shot by reality.